guys, Nyak Nonsense here, and welcome back to All for Nonsense. And today I thought I would do my very first animated Minecraft video. To explain, I I've been teaching myself this fun little app called Blender. Well, not really little. It's a uh pretty hardcore app for animation, and you can get it for free at their website blender.net. But getting to the topic, I thought I would teach you guys how to make some cool Minecraft animation materials. And starting with something you may have seen if you'd looked at my Google Plus, which I doubt you're that involved, but if you happened to, you would have seen this on the Obsidiano that I made in Blender for my Nyak character to use. And this is actually one of the strobe lights on the DJ table, and it's glowstone designed. You can actually, just a fun fact, I have a little folder here where I keep all my Minecraft stuffs, and if I go down to textures, you can actually use your favorite app and maybe change the color of the glowstone if you want to. I don't think I'm going to do that today. I think I may do a tutorial on that at another point. But today I'm just going to do ordinary glowstone. Okay, so let's get down to it. So you want to do a new Blender file. So you'll start out with this little default cube, and you'll be in the default Blender render. And we can Blender render. Oh, we can use that. We can work with that. So you can go to this little slider and move it to edit mode, or you can just simply hit tab, which will take you into the edit mode. And this little bar right here, this shows what you can select. Now you can select these little points on the cube and scooch those around. You can also scooch lines around, and this is very good for sculpting. But we actually need to move faces. And another cool feature Blender has is I'm going to turn on this little magnet button, and this cube that we have here, our default cube, is equal to 4 Blender units if you look at the grid. So I'll just snap to top view so you can see. So we're at top perspective. It's kind of messed up. Let me switch to a better viewpoint. Here we go. So this is actually equal to exactly 4 Blender units. So we are going to have to fix that. He is too big. So if we want to do some actual neat sculpting, we're going to need to shrink it down. So once you turn that on, you can you can actually adjust the different sides and shrink it down to 1 Blender unit. Now, depending on how big you actually want your strobe light, you may need to sculpt this differently. But from here, this is the fun part, in my opinion. Just like you would in the game, you actually get to sculpt these blocks and build your strobe light. So I'm going to try to stick to the same design. I don't have it from memory. I haven't memorized what my design looks like. I may actually make a few strobe lights so I can actually show you how to pivot them around and maybe make an armature. I'll decide that depending on how fast I can get this done. But first things first. I'm going to sculpt my strobe light how I would like to see it look as a finished product. So just gonna keep sculpting. If you plan to sculpt your characters this way to get that custom look, I have to design a new rig. You may have seen the Nyak rig I designed. That's also in the Obsidiano picture. That rig messed up. I did some automatic weight painting to make the rig more accurate when it bended around, kind of more curvy. I like that curvy look with the elbows and the knees and even the chest. But I had it divided into different objects, and I sculpted them all this way, and it made it so all the all the little all the little block pixels would swirl around when I set them when I tried to pose them. So you have to be careful with that weight painting feature using individually sculpted blocks and things and such. So you can actually, if you want to retain the same shape, you can actually select the different the excuse me, this little lamp here is getting on my nerves. You can actually select as many shapes as you want if you hold down Shift and keep right clicking. This Blender is actually better for desktop computers. My computer does not have a number pad. It has numbers, but it doesn't have a number pad. And Blender actually uses a number pad much more than it does just an ordinary number set, because you can use that to alter your perspective, so you can look at your object different ways. Now, what I'm going to do next is this is looking much different than mine. But either way, you can actually, we're going to get to do the texturing now, which is the fun part. So to start off with, I want to finish this mesh right here. Or you know what? Actually, I don't. I'm just gonna I'm gonna get rid of these because I want to do these separately and then combine them, because that is how I did my original, and that one came out pretty well. We are not actually in texturing mode yet, so after you're done sculpting your strobe light, and you can use this technique for a variety of other things depending on if you need to actually pose it or not. I am going to switch into wireframe mode by hitting Z. This is just the easiest way I do it, and then I hit B to go into border select mode, and you can actually highlight these whole sections of pixels, and then you go into this object fold out window and hit the join button. So now if we hit Z again, we can move these all as one strobe light, and it is moving exactly according to the Blender grid. I've tried to be more exact with my builds. I like things precise. I'm kind of OCD about that. But anyway, I'm going to need to add another cube because what I did there was kind of stupid. Now, if your cubes are off the line of the grid, which happens sometimes when you add more in, you go to the Object tab and hit the thing that says Snap, and then you hit Selection to Grid. This will snap it directly to the grid, just like the other ones are. So, you can... I just came up with a rhyme. You can be like me and be OCD. Yay! So, you can get this adjusted. I know the shape that this is going to be in. So I'm going to move this out of the way so I can join these easier without messing the entire thing up. So these are going to be separated for a while. This, as you could probably figure, this one on the left that isn't joined yet is actually going to be the lens of the strobe light. And like I said, you can retexture your strobe light, or you can even use like a redstone lamp texture. But either way, however you want to do it, it all applies the same way. Now, what this is actually going to be is 1 pixel on the Minecraft block, the block of glowstone, in my case, is going to equal 1 pixel on the mesh. So, first things first, we're going to need to hit this little slide out window up here and go to UV editing. And essentially what this means is we slap a bunch of textures onto different areas of our mesh. And when you're doing this, you want to get rid of all your lights so you can see your textures clearly. And what we're going to need to do is you're going to need to hit tab on your lens to take it into edit mode. Select the entire thing, You can do that by hitting A, and then go to Mesh, and hit this thing that says UV Unwrap, and just hit the plain Unwrap button. So, you can just open an image, and under image, in my case, I'm going to go to my desktop, open the Optifine folder, and go to the textures. So under blocks, I am looking for light crystal, or light gem. There we go. So open the image, and what's happening here, it looks like I've actually created a bunch of glowstone blocks, and I kind of know what I did there. Whoops. So what we're going to need to do is zoom in to this thing right here. Now, you can actually select any single one of these faces, and this is the important part. You don't actually need to retexture the stuff on the back because people won't be able to see it. You can kind of just be lazy if you so choose. But on the UV side of things, this is where we want to take off the snap during transform, because this will mess you up in terms of UV texturing. Now, we need to take this one pixel at a time, so you can actually choose which pixels you want to use, but I like to keep them pixels next to each other on the texture, so that it actually still looks like a block of glowstone and people can recognize it. Now, for the one I did on the Obsidiano, I actually used the ones in the corner, so that's what I'm going to do now. First, I'm going to hit S to scale my selection down, and you can actually see on the right side panel, when I change this, you can actually see the texture growing and shrinking. This is really handy. This is a really handy feature. It actually shows you what's going on. Now, once you have it to the pixel you want it to be on, you hit the shift key, the left shift key, and S, and it'll open up this snap window. And you want to hit selected to pixels. So that's what I'm going to do. Then I'm going to do the exact same process for the pixel next to it, and snap to the pixels. There we go. That's about the right size. And then I'll go to the third pixel. And pretty much, this is about what you want to do to get your texture correct. There we go. That is the correct pixel. I am going to go to this pixel now. I'm just going to try to talk. Whoops. I did that on the wrong side. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. You want to make sure you have your correct face selected when you do this, because you can severely mess this up. So I started this animation channel because I feel like I've been being extremely lazy in terms of Minecraft and my other Minecraft stuff, and I know several people who've wanted to make the Minecraft music videos that have gotten pretty popular over the last few years. So I thought giving you guys some tips on how to do it would be really cool, because I would love to see more of these videos, and I've been being lazy with my Minecraft stuff, and this is what I've been doing, so I may as well make videos about that. So, I actually taught myself Blender. I took a leave of absence from my channel so I could learn Blender, and I thought you guys would like it if I could come back and teach it to you. So, whoops, wrong face. That is really all I've been up to, and I've been saying this sort of stuff on my Google Plus. But the new channel intro that I made, I actually did in Blender, and when I start my vlog, that I already created an intro for that in Blender, and I've already started creating intros for some of the segments. So that'll be cool. And let's see. Okay, that looks about the right size. So moving that over the correct pixel, snapping to pixels, and we are about done. You guys feel free to do it exactly how I do it. I'm still, to be honest with you, after as long as I've been doing it, I'm still a Blender noob. There's so much to cover in Blender, so much to learn, that I doubt I'm going to do it within the next year. I doubt I'm going to be able to learn all of Blender within the next year. So, we are adjusting to the last pixel, and da-da-da-da! We can go into object mode, and we see we have something that looks a bit like a piece of glowstone. You can kind of see the glowstone there. So, I'm going to switch out of UV editing and back to default, and we're going to switch back into texture mode so we can see it better. So, now that we have this texture, and on the bottom side it looks really nasty, we can go into our texture panel and hit new, and we actually want to go to image or movie, and we want to open it the same way we did in the UV texturing, because when you actually render out your image or animation, it won't show the texture correctly. It'll show it exactly how it was UV unwrapped, or it won't show it at all. I've had some problems with this with some of the animations I've done for people. I actually haven't finished any yet. I still don't have a sufficient Minecraft character rig. So, I'm going to go exactly back to where I went. I'm sorry if I'm being ridiculously boring. I'm going to go back to textures and hit the exact same one I already did. So that'll actually set this as the texture. And I actually have figured out a few settings. You can see right there in the texture preview, that's really doesn't look good. So what you want to do, how I figured out how to fix this is you go under image sampling and you set the filter to area. And if you look at that, it's already looking a bit better. But then you want to turn off the MIP map and then the interpolation. Now, another thing I forgot to mention is when you opened Blender, it may have been blurry to begin with. And how to fix this is under User Preferences, you go to System, and you want to turn off anisotropic filtering, MIP maps, and GPU MIP map generation. I'm sorry if I didn't cover that soon enough, but really sorry. So we more or less have this ready to go. And sure hope I got this right. I'm like I said, I'm still a Blender noob. So something that helps me when I'm working on something is I'll get rid of my light source altogether, and then I'll add this environment lighting feature. And that's oh no. I was scared this was gonna happen. I've had some serious issues with my textures. They've been mad at me lately. And okay, there's mapping. When I go to image or movie, does it get rid of mapping? No, mapping is still here. Good. Image, open. I'll get back to you guys once I fix this. This is really making me mad. So, I'm gonna pause the video. Guys, I figured out what the problem was. I forgot to make a material before I did the UV unwrapping. Now, what materials do is they can give the object a solid color, and when I made my Nyak rig, I only used materials. So, my issue here is I forgot to make a material before I did the textures, because materials are actually the basis of Blender. Textures just go on top of materials. So, I'm going to have to redo this, and I'll just show you how to make a material real fast. It's right next to textures. It's the thing that looks like a little sphere with the little swirlies on it. It looks a bit like the floating beach ball of death, if you know your apple. So you just go and hit new, and it'll set up a new material. So I'll be right back once I have fixed it, like entirely. Okay, so the UV map was still there. All I had to do was make a material and then UV unwrap it again. So if that didn't work for you, just make a material, go into edit mode, hit mesh, and UV unwrap it the same way we did the first time. And under mapping, the mapping tab in the texture tab, um, you want to scroll down to not image mapping, but just plain mapping. And under coordinates, you want to hit UV. Now, if you've done the UV unwrapping bit, you can go into map, and there will be a UV map there. Now, under the settings that I already fixed, you can do filter area, and remember to get rid of the bitmap and the interpolation, and it should work just fine. Perfect. There we go. So, now for the moment of truth. I'm going to switch back into select mode or um, snap to grid mode, and I'm going to move my little textured area into the strobe light, and of course it fits perfectly. It fits just perfectly. I love it. So, I am going to shift right click, and hit Control J, or you can go into the object panel and hit join. This panel right over here. You can hit join up here, and then you can't really see it, but directly, but once you go into, you can actually change whatever material. So that'll be the only material. And you get rid of the material. You can get rid of the material that the other part, the object part, was using, if you want to. But that was my personal choice. I like the color that glowstone gives it. If you get rid of that texture, it will actually use something of the glowstone texture, and it'll give it this kind of beige look, this beige color, and I think that looks good. Just personal preference. But there you have a strobe light, and this is not the end of the tutorial. Keep watching. I'm going to do a part 2 very soon, and I'm going to explain how to add an actual light source to it and make it move around. So I will see you guys later. My name is Nyak Nonsense, and I sure hope you tune in for the next tutorial. Peace!